How can antifreeze protect your veggies from the freezing temps of winter and make them sweeter? Let's find out. Well, welcome to Driveway Garden. John Simzak here. It's November 13th, gorgeous sunny fall day. And what we're going to do is we're going to look through some cold weather crops, some that overwinter, and also talk a little bit about why they're sweet in the cool weather. So let's start here, but you can see I still have the tomato towers in. The reason I leave those in is because I plant some of these crops at the end of August, mid-September, and of course they're well rooted. If I pull these out, it disturbs the roots. So when some of these finish in a couple weeks and I harvest them, the towers will come out. So that's why they're still in. But right here, we got some turnips, and I planted, this was a late crop I planted, and I just did a few late so I could have some more, for some nice fall sweetness. You can see some, when they're planted singly, they get bigger. And you can see here, when you plant them tight together, you get a lot more small ones. So it just depends on what you like. You can go either way, and either way is not right or wrong. But that's called Market Express. I find that's been a very good one. And actually, when I harvested, I planted some early spring, and when I harvested those in the summer, those were actually pretty sweet for in the heated summer. So I think that's more variety oriented. Over here, we'll look over here, we have some American flag leeks, and I have a good crop of them in another area, and these are overwinter nicely. And also you get just a nice mild sweet flavor. I've planted several other leeks, and this has been a good variety. I've stuck with it. So what do you think of this, Brandon?
You mean your wind-blown chives?
Yeah, wind-blown chives. They don't look so good, do they? And then a lot of times I get questioned, well, what's wrong with my plant? Well, it's cooling down, it's shutting down. They'll still do some growing, but real slow. So what I'll do next spring, and even now, I could still trim some of this and eat it. And I mean, if I took a piece now, I can eat it. Still tastes really good. And so what you can do with these is in the spring, I'll chop them way back, I mean really short, and they'll grow all back. And that's one thing I like about chives. You can harvest the tops of them all summer long and even into the cool weather. So over here, we have some arugula, and there's many different types of arugula, but perfectly hardy. This will last the winter too. And I will, in fact, I had some today on a sandwich, and these tend to be a little bitter, but man, there's a nice sweet tang in that right now. Arugula, that's good. Over here, we have blue curled kale, and this is it's super hardy, really takes the frost. And this one, you got these nice rosettes in the foliage, very nutritious. Actually has a lot of good nutrition that would be good for heart health in there. I have a very large one over by the garage side garden, and that's the one we'll harvest off of. This one we'll let go in the spring, and as it takes off, as we get into May and early June, we'll harvest some before then, but at that point is when we start harvesting, and it will have some size to it. Over here, and I love this one. This is such a good spinach. It's called Matador. You can see how super dark green it is. And this one, especially as it comes through the winter into the spring, I've tried several varieties of spinach so far. This has been absolute sweetest going through the cool weather, and so much better than what you get in the store. Over here, we have white Lisbon bunching onion. This one is fantastic because this was grown since the 1700s. And the reason that one has grown that for so long is it's super versatile. You can crop all summer with it into the cool weather. And you plant some seeds about every 3 weeks. You can have succession of harvest. And right now I have about 3 different sizes going, so that more often than not, I can harvest fresh green onions. You can use this the same way as chives as well if you wish. You can just top the green of it, take a top third off every time or so, and it will grow back. You can use it that way or let it grow into green onions. Over here, we have Long Island improved Brussels sprouts. And what we'll do with this is kind of small actually. I had one on my garage side garden that was about 4.5 feet tall. And the reason this is small is I've cropped through 2 other crops in this container along with this. And these I added because I like some things grown right till we freeze hard. Those will go out. But what I'll do next spring is I will not plant anything else in there and let this grow. And again, this will get up a good size and we'll get more harvest off it as well. And again, perfectly hardy through the winter. And it's amazing how, to me, how these stay tasty and really nice. See if we get one off. We'll taste it now. Yummy.
I hate Brussels sprouts.
Oh, yummy. I love them. But they get even sweeter after they've gone through the winter. I harvest them, you know, mid-April, late April. Maybe, and you can harvest various times on that, but it'll get a good size just like the other ones. So what we're going to do now is we're going to top this pot off with the spinach with some compost. I've already done all the other containers. We're going to just show you that in a minute. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're just going to top off the pot with some compost. I just wanted to mention a few things. So there's more than one way we get compost in here. And one is I've had 2 different crops in this pot too before these plants were in. And when I take any of those plants out, I twist them out so all the root stays in, or if it's a heavy stem, I'll trim it out with a lopper. So all those roots stay in from the other crops, which adds all kinds of goodness, just all kinds of good organic matter, and also leaves a lot of the microbes there for the next planting. So now we'll just top it off. I got my fresh compost here, and here's what we got this year. Give you an idea what that looks like. And again, I'm always amazed at all the different types of things we put in there, and you can't identify them anymore. And so that sweet smell. So we're going to just top this baby off. And as we fill this up, I've got questions on this already, how much I put around the plant and how deep I bury the stem. And, you know, people think, well, that's a problem. Well, no, it's not. Actually, they like it and it protects them really well. I find, as opposed to not doing this, which in the past I didn't always top them in the fall, is that I find, since I do top them off in the fall now, that the plants take off much better in the spring. So the added protection is good. And of course, with the compost, you're adding all kinds of nutrition and microorganisms. And remember, it's the microorganisms that make the nutrient available. That's how they get the minerals that they need. And so we're going to fill that right up. Sometimes I even fill it up so it's a little overflowing, because once you get to springtime, some of this will settle out through the winter, and it will be pretty much level with the pot. So putting a little extra in is okay. And so now I do this with all my containers. So what we've done is we've prepared our containers for next spring's plantings. So as soon as I have my seedlings ready and they need to go in, all I have to do is plant and they're ready to go. Well, I tell you what, antifreeze, this isn't going to work. What works is the veggies take sugars in a more concentrated way in the stem and in the leaves, which protects them and acts like antifreeze. So that's how they stay sweet and how they get protected in the winter. Well, that's it for today, friends. If you have any questions, please be sure to leave them in the comments, and be sure to hit that like button, plant that subscribe button, and hit the bell so you can continue to see what we're doing. Thank you for pulling up to the driveway garden, no dig container gardening.